right, friends, we are live in the metaverse. Welcome to the NFT Music Hall, Painwaves. So great that you could make this, and we're just getting started.
What's up?
Hey, have you been in metaverse shows in the past? What's your exposure to shows like this, doing streaming in general?
I had an interview that was live with Radio Free Brooklyn, or yeah, and then I had a couple interviews. I only had one show though.
Got it. So, how did you get into music?
I'd say I was 5. And I started playing drums and singing and just trying to pitch match with headphones on. And then I really didn't get into it until I was like 25, 26. I was stuck in this really kind of BS situation with my family. And so, in my own creative way of proving that I was competent, I wrote a bunch of songs, started recording them, and hired a mentor to help me with that. It's basically just, yeah, I'd say about 2028, I actually officially launched as an artist. So 2018, about.
Got it. And how far did you get into publishing music? What did you release music in Spotify and Apple Music and other venues prior to NFTs?
I have some music that are NFTs, and then I have some music on SoundCloud. Actually, most, if not all of it's on SoundCloud, and Reverb Nation and Bandcamp. But I wanted to go small with the distributors just because of uploading costs, and my brain damage was getting in the way of me properly uploading. So I just decided to forego SoundCloud or Spotify and Apple Music.
Got it.
Yeah,
When did you get into NFTs?
I got into NFTs last year. I got a couple of NFTs from friends. Unity, I think it's Pixel Fist. Pixel Fist was one of my first projects that I got into. And then from there, I just dabbled in spaces on Twitter for like a couple months, just chilled out, played music when I could.
Clearly you've got a pretty intense life story that uh, brought you to music and now into NFTs. Can you tell us a little bit about that? You were mentioning that you had some brain trauma that ultimately is made things challenging for sure. And
Yeah, so that started when I was born, and then it was supposedly treated with a third ventricular ostomy when I was 10 and a half, so May 2001. And then from there, I just kind of grinned and bared it because it didn't really work.
got it.
Caffeine helped, but it didn't work too well. And it turns out, I think the official theory is that I need weed to be able to have it function properly, at least now. And I don't know about walking anymore because of circulation issues with my brain. So we're looking into that.
Right. So that you know, I can relate to some of that. Just but more than anything else, that kind of brings up uh, creativity that comes out of that. I mean, the way a brain works and what comes out, and focusing on music and focusing on you know uh, translating life experience into words and sound, right? what was your what was that like for you? What you know you
It
said you
was
yeah.
like days when I was on the antipsychotic. I'm allergic to those medications. I can't breathe on them at all. And so it induced hypomania. And I would go certain days, I would crash, and it almost became intentional where I was just like, I'm not hungry, and so I wouldn't eat necessarily right away. And then when I would eat, ta-da, magic moment, because I would go to the ledge of life, come back from it again, eating and feeling better, and then that energy that's created in that moment somehow translated into just music in my head.
And writing lyrics out of that, were they quick bursts, writing the song all at once, or did you cycle, and do
Last,
multiple edits on lyrics?
no, it was straight away. Just straight away, right out. 18
Yeah,
songs, and I dropped them all. Because it came to be December, January of this year, this current year, this past January, and I was sitting on like 20 songs to release. And I had felt just emotionally like I couldn't say anything else.
right.
So when I have that feeling, it's like, oh, I obviously have already said it all that I need to say. And so here's what is from that sort of thing. So overnight, I kind of dropped one and then two more. So 3 albums total on top of 4 days, which came out in like July of the previous year, 2021, because I redropped that. And then I dropped If I Had a Heart, It's Been Gone a couple months back. And then I have some acapella stuff.
Oh, wow, I haven't heard that yet. That's on your SoundCloud as well?
It's the electronic acoustic stuff. I just took the
Got it.
drums out of everything. It just sounds more soothing.
Got it. Yeah. So, what would you like? What's in your mind for what's next for you in music?
I honestly, well, I have some lyrics already. I started writing again,
Yeah.
so
Awesome.
just more writing, I guess. I'm in that initial phase.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
yeah.
Well, we'll definitely look forward to hearing some of that when it comes together. But you've set me up with a good playlist, and we're at just about 5:15 our time. Well, 7:15 your time, 8:15 East Coast. Why don't we play some of that?
Sounds good.
Just tell everyone about this bear here. Board Ted Yacht Club. How did you get
Yeah.
involved, or what brought you to use this as your main PFP?
I think it was a couple nights ago. I just woke up in the middle of the night, logged on to Spaces, BTYC. Oh, cool, another derivative. And the reason I picked it up, it was the first of the derivatives of that project that I picked up, of the Bored Ape, because it's a derivative of the word board and not a derivative of the ape. So it's unique in its own fashion. So from there, there's a bunch of TED NFTs. They're just derivatives. And I vibe with them a lot, so I picked up the Stony Eyed one.
Right, big time. So let's just go through a couple tunes. In the list, you got 9 songs here, and the first one is "Be a Kid." Tell us a little bit about that one.
That one came about last year, September. I'd say there's the lyric "blue jeans and summer glasses" was just kind of like my outfits back in the day. I was sick all the time as a kid until I was 10, and then even after the surgery, I wasn't really 100% me. So I'd say it's just about being a kid, but being in pain and coping with it. And the
Got it.
song ends in its own special way, where it's just like, wow. So I waited until the end to say that out there. So,
Got it. Shall I start it?
go ahead.
Here we go. Be a kid.
blue jeans and summer glasses. We were passing out in class throughout it all. He's gonna kick my ass like I'm the last one he could fuck with. I'm miserable. Saw me when I'm asleep. These feelings I can't keep throughout this war. Taught me with the past, I'm gonna make the shame. Let's get comfortable. Don't take me home, cause I don't wanna go. I know they're selfish, putting me through storms. These hazy eyes can't stay open. All I used to think I lived, but I was toast. Get my head off the ground, maybe just get lost in town. I'm doing great. Breathing through the pain, no aspirin takes it away. I'm not okay. She could barely keep. She shaped me like a golden sheep, made me gay. I know it's not a choice, but they took away my voice, took it out on me. Don't take me home, cause I don't wanna go. I know they're selfish, putting me through storms. These hazy eyes can't stay open. All I used to think I lived, but I was toast. I'm westward bound. I want no reward. Keep my head down and not tell us all what it's like to be a kid. What it's like to be a kid. What it's like to be a kid.
That was huge.
Thanks, man. You know what I'm saying?
Was this one of your first songs? How did it come together?
I'd say, well, I wrote 4 days, and then I wrote like every day. I wrote a song every 5 days. I would record, and then when I quit Letters to Her, I started Pain Waves, and I started by dropping that album 4 days ago. And then I wrote like 22 songs last September
Staggering.
altogether. 22.
Yep, that's huge.
So, and it was like a song every other day. That's all I did.
What tools do you use to record? What kind of DAW, digital audio workstation?
Logic Pro X, Logic Pro 10. It just comes down to knowing what you use though, like how to use it,
Yeah, absolutely.
you know, the tools. So that's basically what it comes down to. I have some plugins that make everything sound a little bit better. Standard professional audio stuff.
Right on. Well, let's hop into the next tune. Let's set this one up. It's called Who's Karma? Should I just go ahead and start playing through?
Well, I will say there was a day that my mom walked into my room when I was a kid, and I said the standard, karma's not great, a derivative of that, and she's like, "Who's Karma?" I, looking back, find that so ironic. She's one of the worst people I've ever met, and she goes by the name Pope Jude, apparently, like back in the day. She's so Catholic.
Staggering.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll find out more about that here in the song. Let's cue it up.
I just wanna talk it out, not scream and shout. Good therapy for days. The consciousness of what they did, I stabilize and meditate. I hope for brand new suns, for storms to come. Go make my escape from their grasp and my shitty past, and I hope they pass away. I'm singing cheap wine, fine dine on the animal skins. Stay up, pick fights, throwing rocks at what they did. Hope I live before I die. I hope I get to write and testify. The robbers in nests and their big lies, but I know I see their face. Millions off of concept art and get praise for things written in the dark. Maybe I should quit before I start. Karma comes for me, oh wait. I'm singing cheap wine, fine dine on the animal skins. Stay up, pick fights, throwing rocks at what they did. Your secrets bury me instead, so I keep them locked up in my head, and I save the world from a terrible fate. I'm done with all the sacraments, the holy water, it just don't make sense. It's just full of love and happiness, just a bunch of useless praise. I'm singing cheap wine, fine dine on the animal skins. So we stay up and pick fights, throwing rocks at what they did. I hope that they find their own soul, 'cause they can't use mine for rock and roll. So just take advantage and pay your tolls, 'cause I was just a kid.
Totally got it.
So it's like 5 years old and sitting at a table in the kitchen. And so I just wrote a song about it. Just figured.
So next tune is Closer.
So I wrote this one in my friend Akira's apartment in Denver a couple years ago. I was still in the guardianship and conservatorship. and I wrote the words in her living room, and then produced it. She was originally going to sing the song, and then she moved away for a second. Recording wasn't really logistically possible. I really liked it on the burner, coming into the catalog off burner, back burner. So decided to release it with me singing it instead. So
Oh, got it. Let's do this. Here we go. Closer.
controlled substance, and I performed that night he leveraged the sexual act. While I was not in charge and he was. About 2 months, you knew that the whole time. Showed up at bars. Let me talk. This is my truth. And I was raped by a man with HIV.
Okay, well, I'm sorry that that happened to you, but where were you that that happened?
His house.
Okay, so you were some stranger's house that had HIV and you put yourself in that situation where you could be there for a certain reason.
Yeah, to have a good time.
That was intense. At this point, let's just jump into I Feel Too Much remix. What can you tell me about that one, or tell us about that?
I took the vocal stems. I originally had this like really straightforward like snare part for it, and I or no, that was the rework. Yeah, I reworked the snare, I reworked the beat, I threw the old vocals on top of it, and it came out precious. So I called it a remix.
Got it. Let's do this. All right.
What antipsychotics do to you? I couldn't even describe how painful it was being on those things. Eventually, it got to the point where it's like this massive void. It felt like, so I just wrote the lines. I feel too much. I feel too deep. Went from there.
Got it.
Originally, my old bandmate was on the song. We had some fun with the outro, and had some back masked lyrics thrown in. So it's pretty fun making it.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, talk about explosive. I mean, a lot of expression in that one.
Thanks.
Everyone or everybody has their ways. Next tune. Want to set that up?
Yeah, so that one's about I used to go to this primary school for education, and they had a festival every year. And one year I got assaulted by a bunch of classmates on the playground, and the lyrics are just basically about the title is about that. The lyrics are about the aesthetic of what being at that festival was like. If I'm gonna remember something, I'm gonna remember the good parts eventually. So that's what it's come down to. It's just realizing that I was blessed to grow up where I was growing up, and from there I make do with what I have.
Got it. Here, let's go. Everybody has their way.
Everybody's playing for keeps, kissing in the grass, stumbling past a team. Bottle in my hand, but I'm filled with memories, keeping them down, and I'm okay. Everybody comes and laughs and has their way. Liquor I drown, sadness at bay. Everybody's watching and make the same mistakes, and I'm almost home where I'm gonna stay in misery. Yeah, I'm not great. The sad November evening rain. I'm headed west, I'll take the train. Everyone laughs, they have their way, except for me, and that'll never change. Thornbush squeezing my heart out just to dry. Yeah, I'm not in jail, but it sure does feel like time. We were getting high, safe back in our minds, falling off the rails, but I keep my head up high. Stay in haze just to cope, yeah, just to try. At the end of my road, right by the county signs, and I'm almost home where I'm gonna stay in misery. Yeah, I'm not great. The sad November evening rain. I'm headed west, I'll take the train. Everyone laughs, they have their way, except for me, and that'll never change. And I miss my friends so much I'll never see. What we could have been as a happy team. Stay for years, I will never leave. That'll never happen, and I know it'll never be. And I'm almost home where I'm gonna stay in misery. Yeah. Stay in haze just to cope, yeah, just to try. At the end of my road, right by the county signs, and I'm almost home where I'm gonna stay in misery. Yeah, I'm not great. The sad November evening rain. I'm headed west, I'll take the train. Everyone laughs, they have their way, except for me, and that'll never change. And I miss my friends so much I'll never see. What we could have been as a happy team. Stay for years, I will never leave. That'll never happen, and I know it'll never be. And I'm almost home where I'm gonna stay in misery. Yeah, I'm not great. The sad November evening rain. I'm headed west, I'll take the train. Everyone laughs, they have their way, except for me.
So at this point, we're hitting the mark. I'd love to play another tune of yours, so I'm gonna do that, and then we'll bring in our next guest. And so let's see, of the ones that are on the playlist here, the remainders: Sunny Day, You Couldn't Kill Me Any Faster, I'm Always Drowning in Your Dreams, and Apathy is the closest thing to serenity that I could find. Of those, what would you like me to play as the closer?
I'd like you to play You Couldn't Kill Me Any Faster. I wrote that one. It's one of the last ones I wrote with my old roommate. And from there, I just made the beat in a couple days. It's very fun.
Got it. All right, let's do this.
I'd float above the surface of the sun. If I died today, I'd know freedom. Keep my soul and fly away. You can have it anyways. I'm not afraid of you. They say that my life is no fun. I beg to smile 'cause I have one. Keep my head up, keep my faith. Promise me that I can stay insecure but absolute. I saw a clock go ticking on the wall. The TV stand and telephone. One whole table and 4 chairs. Promise I can take you there. I think that that's the truth. I'm hopeful now, and I say wow. My heart stops. I take a final bow. I'm hopeful now, and I say wow. My heart stops. I take a final bow. I knew pain, I was just a little boy. I had a heart that knew little joy. Make me beg for an escape. Always keeping me in pain. I think that you're so rude, and I'm hopeful now. And I say, wow, my heart stops. I take a final bow.
All right, man. We are wrapping it up here with Pain Waves.
Thanks so much for checking out my set.
Absolutely. And we'll look forward to coming back here. Let me just bring Zoom back in. So thank you for being part of NFT Music Hall family, coming in and really just sharing the deepest of emotions here with us. It's our honor to have you here and get your music out. And so we're going to be posting links for everything that you've been putting out, and we hope that we can see you again. Come back. We'll figure out a way to do live performance with you sometime. It would be really awesome to see that. Get
God
some
bless.
more
Thank you so much, Pat.
audio and video for you. So on that note, have a great night and stick around. Come into Voxels and hang out with Ghost Train coming up now. There you are. And here comes Ghost Train, and then of course Weinbagz after him. So
Thanks so much.
Thank you again. Definitely. speaking of Ghost Train, here we go.
How's it going?
It's going
Just gonna
well.
turn my audio down here.
What a amazing set that we just had from Pain Waves. Yeah, huge, huge emotions, huge life experience, and to put it out on music and share it here, yeah, definitely our privilege. So we had a really great conversation the other day, and can't wait to get into your background, how you got into music, what's happening in NFTs. Now, do you want to show a graphic? Because I know you're pending the doxing, right?
Yeah, we're pending the doxing here. Yeah, let's
That's why
see.
I'm here by myself on the big screen. There it
There
is.
we go.
All right. I have company.
My presence is here, indeed.
So, Ghost Train, tell us about Ghost Train. Where did the name come from? Who's all what makes up Ghost Train? Give us the
Yeah. So Ghost Rain is we're actually an art and music duo. So I compose the music, and then my life partner does the 3D animated art. And yeah, and I've also been out in the space for a while, collecting music NFTs and being a part of a lot of different things. And over the last year, we got into the space in actually October 2021, and it's we kind of took it very slow, where really focusing on just kind of building the craft, because audiovisual, as you know, it's had a huge making audiovisual pieces with music is kind of a new format for it. So we started by making some one-to-ones, and just meeting people in the space, and collecting, and from there have started over the last couple of months to really get out there and drop some edition pieces, and yeah, it's been great. It's been a lot of growth in a year, and yeah, I'm just so happy to be in Web3 doing this, because I never found this kind of community in Web2 music. So yeah, it's been quite an awesome journey so far.
right on. Yeah, and listening to your stuff, I mean, yeah, nice job looking at your graphics. So you and your partner, how long have you known each other now?
So 9 years. Yeah, so we met in 2020, 2012, 2013. Yeah, I guess we're coming up on 10 years here.
That's
And yeah, like Tim always made 3D art, and he was working jobs as a video game designer for a while, and
right.
I kind of got into like corporate marketing, and but I'd always composed music and made music.
Yeah.
And we kind of, when we discovered Web3, it was kind of a light bulb moment. And it was something that I missed. Like I never released anything in Web2. And um, it was something that we discovered, and was just, we were so intrigued by the space, and it felt like a light bulb moment, where it's like, oh, we can actually just do this together. And yeah, and so Ghost Rain was born after that.
That's so awesome. Yeah, and so for you personally, how did you get into music? What was the genus of your musicianship? How did that come around?
Yeah, so I started in music when I was like, geez, 7 or 8. My parents got me in on Suzuki, which is like a certain style of learning and in
Yeah,
classical music. So I started on violin, and did that for quite a few years, and then got into piano with the Royal Conservatory Academy in Canada, and did that for a while throughout high school, and then when I was about 15, I started composing my own pieces, and I did that. I'm 35 now, so I did that consistently, on and off here and there. But from the time I was 15 to now, a couple little blips, along the way. I probably took a year or two off here and there, but Web3 really inspired me to get back into it and start making music all the time. Because before it was kind of, again, like I just didn't see a place for it in Web2. So from there, discovering Web3 kind of led me to it being, a part of my life again on a daily basis. Whereas in the past, it was kind of like I go through, be kind of, somewhat consistent, but like kind of go through, phases where I'd be into it, but nobody would ever hear it. Like it was just all for me. So,
Well, through the Royal Conservatory, was this, primarily piano performance in an orchestra, in a symphony, or what type of format was it? And of course, classical to start, right?
like I started with Suzuki as violin, and then went on to piano with conservatory, and I got to like it was like grade 9, and then I stopped that, and then I started composing a lot from after that point. Because I think at a certain point I was thinking, in my teens, that it could be, a career as a performer, but then I found composition more interesting. And a lot of people do both, obviously, but that's kind of where I went from there, just composing music on my laptop.
So, in the conservatory, were you all going into more modern music already at that time, or did you made the shift once you started composing on your own?
I made the shift when I started composing more on my own, to, working in Fruity Loops and DAWs and stuff. So before that it was, um, yeah, before that was sheet music and such, but I wasn't composing in there ever. I'd always been, I started composing on Fruity Loops, and then that kind of carried over to now.
Got it. So yeah, I think we got a good setup of how you got into NFT, how you got into music, and I'd love to hear more. Just your overall, the whole shift from learning music to creating modern music. Were there any specific influences that you were, trying to recreate, or where did you go with your musical journey?
Yeah, so tons of influences. So, obviously I've been a lover of classical music my whole life. So very heavily influenced by, Bach, and also some of the romantic composers, such as, Beethoven, and especially Liszt and Brahms. And another huge one is video game music. So a huge, both of us are inspired by the Final Fantasy series. So I'm a huge fan of Nobuo Matsu and Yoko Shimomura. Those are the composers, for the most part. And then Tim's very inspired by the visuals of that. So that was always kind of a ground where we saw common ground, and a lot of inspiration from that particular video game series, and also just the mixture of like kind of neoclassical and the mixture of electronic and classical. So there's a lot of artists in that space, especially in music NFTs that I've seen. So that's always been a huge inspiration too. But I would say definitely like the classical composers and video game music, and then yeah, like in terms of other music styles, it's not really shown in our work, but huge fan of Radiohead and Bjork and Nine Inch Nails, and a lot of different artists in that genre. So yeah.
Absolutely. So actually, one of the cool things that I've recently found out about, because unfortunately I hadn't been really in your circle up until recently, is that you've been partnering with Bobby Yapps in the uh, art, audio, visual realm, and talking about those things. How did that come around, and what's been your collab been like with him?
Bobby's awesome. So he was probably one of the first people I followed in the space a year ago, and always been kind of a kindred spirit, and I've always been a huge admirer of his work. And we kind of met just through similar circles, and I'd also collected a lot of his work over the last year, and we were both sort of talking about where how to kind of set up a space, like what would be the best way to do like a spaces, and kind of start to grow a community, and then we started talking, and then we've been doing a Thursday audiovisual and music NFT space for the last couple weeks, and it's been going really great. And I think it's from us kind of having the same, just similar kind of views on the space and philosophies. I think it's made it really like a genuine, place for people to come and chat, and we don't record it, and we've gotten, it's just like kind of a really chilled, unfettered, conversation where people can talk about their works, or what they're seeing in the space, and what's kind of interesting them. And it's also unique for that sense of it not just being a music NFT space, or an art space, but it's for audiovisual creators that come and chat, and that's been awesome. It's been a really a big step forward in this space for me personally, because I never really felt comfortable on spaces in the past. And it took me a while to really get into that, but it's really important for just kind of building community, and having a place for people to come and chat, and who are similar artists to you. So it's been a great experience.
Absolutely. It's amazing, getting a speaking voice. And I've kind of gone through the same thing. It's really funny for me. Being in spaces is almost more difficult than doing this emceeing, interviewing, because I enjoy having kind of like this, living room conversation about music. And in spaces, it's like, you have this vibe of, stepping up to the mic, getting on stage and stuff like that. And of course, this is the stage. But so I think we should cue you up.
And it's one of those things where this is the first metaverse set I've done where stringing together our works, and it's it took a lot more effort than I thought, and so it's just processing the high quality right now.
Oh, yeah.
So it's only on 360. The rest we can kind of switch to after. Sorry, guys.
So I think we're set. Give us a little setup, so to speak, on this video that we're about to play. And
So
yeah.
this is the entire Ghost Train, every NFT that we drop, starting from our Genesis piece last October, going up to our last release, the last Paladin, which dropped about a month ago, and then after that, so the first you'll see and hear every piece that we've ever dropped, and then after that, there's a couple covers and unfinished, very raw, unreleased track, and the covers are thematic to one of the influences I just mentioned.
Nice.
And yeah, apologies, the video quality is going to be 360p for at least the first part, but listen and enjoy, and It's a learning experience. This it's my first time doing this, so I hope you enjoy.
All right, here we go. That was amazing. Loved it. And at this point, we're gonna wrap this up. I mean, tell us more about what's happening next. So, you were, letting us know about a couple things, but like right now, what's on the nearest horizon for you?
Yeah, so I think the next thing is we're finishing up the Nemesis collection. So the one you saw, the Paladin, last Paladin,
Yeah.
with the purple background and all that. So that's part one of that collection, and there's only 3 editions left now. Just throwing
Right.
that in there.
I saw
Um,
that. Saw that.
but yeah, the next piece is dropping pretty soon. We're in the final stages of it, so definitely in the next, I'd say 2 weeks latest. And then we're going back to, if you remember the dragon with the black background,
Yeah.
we're going back to that collection after with a new piece, and then I think we're gonna break out and do some different things. The goal next year is to build up to a larger collection, um, with rarity structures, and I think the unique thing about what we want to do there is that hasn't really been done with music and 3D art, like animated art. So that is the goal for by end of next year, and yeah, just
Right.
creating and being in the space, and um meeting new people. And I think our first we've kind of set on our first in-person NFT event to be NFT NYC. So I know you through I know people in the metaverse space are planning some stuff there. So hopefully to get involved and be present. I think
Yeah.
the Art Basel FOMO kind of drove that, so we're totally committed to it. So
Right.
yeah, and actually, you know what? It's funny. I think that turns out really well. I was surprised because I was, uploading it to the last moment that it looks pretty great in the normal quality. So I
Absolutely.
think it all worked out.
Came through. Yeah.
And I want to thank you too for inviting me to share our works, and it's been a great experience meeting you, and doing this. This is the first time we've ever done anything in the metaverse. So other than it being in a couple of music video festivals, so
Right.
it's really awesome.
Well, happy to have you in part of the showcase, getting to see some of this fresh work from you. You know, our pleasure. And look forward to having you again. Love to when you decide to docs and maybe even do some live. I don't know if that's in your horizon, but we'd love to work on some live shows too.
I used to DJ,
Oh
so
yeah.
it's something that I definitely want to actually do a live set. That'd be awesome. So, but I think that's a little ways away. But I definitely love to do it.
Call that New Year's. So definitely 2023. Let's see what happens.
100%. And thanks again for having me.
Absolutely. Well, here we go. Bringing Weinbagz in. So thanks. Thanks again.
Thanks a ton. Cheers.
Cheers. Weinbagz, welcome to the NFT Music Hall.
Thank you so much for having me.
And, just super filled up from the previous guests here. Talk about Pain Waves and Ghost Train.
Oh, hell yeah.
Just setting things up. Wow.
But
Amazing
yeah, I've been
shows.
following both of them for a while now. So yeah.
Cool. Well, what a treat to have you in the hall. We're gonna definitely find out a little bit more about where you come from, what's happening, and
Hell yeah.
cue some tunes up here. Um, you know, you've already had a chance to be interviewed on Easy's Corner and
Hmm.
doing a lot of spaces. How long have you actually been in the Web3 space at this point?
So I started getting into it around, well, I actually remember it was exactly February of 2021. Um, I had a friend who, Rowan, who goes by Muse Bandit, who kept telling me about it. And I was like, I don't have time for that shit. And then I remember our power actually went out for like a week during that month, and it was like super cold, and we ended up having to stay with my sister-in-law, and that's when I started diving down the NFT and blockchain rabbit hole because I just had nothing else to do, and I was like, oh wow, this is actually really fucking crazy. And so yeah,
Right.
that's where I started.
Got it. And so the musical journey, of course, that got you here. How old were you when you know, kind of got your bearings around music? And
I
how did
mean,
it
I
start for
grew.
you?
Oh, sorry, what was that?
And how it started for you? How you got into music?
Yeah, I mean, I very young. Like my dad was a classical pianist, so I grew up, from birth listening to him play and sitting on his lap while he would play. And then
Oh,
I
yeah.
started taking piano lessons around probably age 3 or 4. Did that for a few years, and then I decided to quit. And then took some like trumpet in junior high and started playing guitar in junior high, and that's sort of what really got me into it, was starting to play in bands, playing guitar. Um and then sort of taking up keyboards again later on, when I was in my late teens. Um, yeah.
Got it. And so from there, getting into electronic music, what was how did you come upon the DAW, and starting to record electronically?
Yeah. I mean, I started out on a Tascam 4-track. It was one of the ones with, cassette. And
Yep.
yeah, I started recording when I was very young. And then I graduated to it was like a digital Tascam. What was it called? I don't know, but it was like this little gray workstation. Um,
What-
and then
Like an ADAT?
and it wasn't an ADAT. It was what was it called? I can't remember, but it was digital, and it had, about 8 tracks on it, and had some like built-in effects and stuff. And so
Yeah, sweet.
I started playing with a band when I was in Portland when I first moved here, and the guy was running everything off of main stage, and he used Logic to record all his tracks, and he ended up giving me like a bootleg copy of Logic, and sort of showing me a little bit about it. And from there, that's when I really started, down the digital audio workstation path. And then I got a cracked copy of Ableton when I was probably 21 or 22, and just always was recording it for myself or to record demos for my bands, but didn't really take it seriously until pretty recently, actually, in terms of, oh, I'm gonna try to be a producer.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, did you and your bands, put albums out, get out on Spotify and the streamers?
I put one album out with a band that I led. And then I've sort of played on friends' records and stuff, but I don't have that much music released in that traditional sense.
Right.
And those ones were all, professionally done. Like we'd go to the studio and have someone else engineer it. So yeah.
Yeah. And what was that experience like?
Uh I mean, I've spent a fair amount of time in the studio. It's definitely different when you're that isolated, because I was more used to playing on stage where, there's a crowd, people are talking,
Yeah.
there's the room, the reverb of the room, and it's loud as fuck, and everything sort of mashes together a little bit. I mean,
Right.
you can still hear shit, but it's, it's
Yeah,
filled out in terms of, being isolated and just hearing, your mistakes are that much more, you know, you really see where your weaknesses are when you can hear yourself in that context,
absolutely. It,
Yeah.
it really is pretty naked. Let
Yep.
alone
Yep.
vocals if you were doing any singing yourself.
No, I do not sing. I do like a lot of vocoder stuff. And I used to sing back in high school, like I was in choir and stuff and sang in bands, but I let it go for too long and yeah. So no, I'm not a singer, but
Well, so with that, you've got a pretty sizable list that you gave me to queue up here, and we've got plenty of options. I guess actually, you just dropped something today. If we actually cover some NFT stuff here
yeah,
first,
definitely.
what is up with that? What
So
is
the one oh, sorry, what was that?
what is it that's out?
So that is a one of one. I've been releasing one of ones on a contract I deployed through Manifold. Excuse me. The collection's called Weinbagz in the City, and they're all one of ones. They're all animations where I do the animation through Stable Diffusion, and then sort of import that into After Effects, compose music to it, and then use that music to sort of drive the animation. And so I have about six pieces up. This is the sixth piece, and actually the auction just got kicked off for that earlier today. So there's like a 24-hour auction on that. So yeah, that's and I sent you a couple that the ones I sent you, I think actually I think I put this one in there, but then there's two others that I haven't released that will be added to this collection in the coming months. The one I think, is there one in there called Arcade?
I do believe so. Let's just double check this here. Yeah. So
Yes.
you gave me Arcade and Forest.
Oh yeah, perfect. So yeah, those are both the collection's called Weinbagz in the City, and every piece is like a day at the blank. So this is a day at the arcade.
Ah,
And then I try to, find sounds or musical ideas that sort of support the visual theme of it, I guess.
sweet. I think we've got a few songs that you might want to queue up in advance of those. Should we keep those to the end?
Yeah,
Or-
whatever. Yeah, I'm cool with whatever makes the most sense. So yeah.
Well, it's up to you, actually. Just you've got the list on your end. In fact, I'll just have you just say, "Hey,
So
yeah,
yeah, I'll bring that up real quick. So there's a few of those that are actually like part of a project that I was hoping to maybe dive a little into in terms of just explaining what it is. And then there's one just like straight up track that I recorded, and then those videos. So
nice. All right. Well, what should we start off with?
maybe Give It Up, just because that's just a straight up track, doesn't really need much of a introduction, and
All right.
yeah.
We'll just let it play in the background here. Weinbagz, Give It Up.
Okay. I was like, I can't. Maybe I should be in boxes.
I'm gonna actually switch over to graphics.
Oh, perfect.
can't give it up for you if you won't give it up for me. Don't think I'm gonna let this happen again. I'm not gonna let it happen, baby. Making it harder for me to tell you how I feel. That I can't let it be. I can't give it up for you if you won't give it up for me. And I can't give it up for you if you won't give it up for me.
These are part of a project I'm working on for Async, which is a generative audio visual platform. So basically these will be, there will be several tracks within this project, and each track will have like a generative visual picture and a generative audio track as well. So these are sort of like examples of combos that will come out of that. And that will be in 2023. So that's something I'm starting to sort of slowly show people and, get in people's ears. So
Nice. Okay.
So that's, the Gen album, either, track 0 or track 1.
So there's track 0 _1 and _2, and then track 1 and 2.
Let's start on track 0.
All right, here we go.
So easy to see, yet so hard to find. Inside, out of mind. So hard to breathe and leave it behind. You've been looking up, but you've been looking down. You've been looking up, but you were headed down. You've been looking up, but you're headed down. You've been looking up, but you're going down. You've been looking up, but you've been putting down. You've been looking up, but you were headed down. You've been looking up, but you're headed down. You've been looking up, but you're going down. You've been floating around, trying to find some peace, trying to find some peace. You've been lost, now you're found. Still can't feel the beat, still can't feel the beat. Ooh. You've been looking around, trying to find the key, trying to grab some cheese. You've been lost, now you're found. Still can't feel the beat, still can't feel the beat. You've been looking up, You've been looking up, but you're going down. You've been looking up, but you've been heading down. You've been looking up, but you were headed down. You've been looking up, but you're headed down. You've been looking up, but you're going down. You've been looking up, but you've been headed down. You've been looking up, but you were headed down. You've been looking up, but you're headed down. You've been looking up, but you're going down.
We'll just let it flow into the next one.
Hell yeah.
So easy to see, yet so hard to find. In sight, out of mind. So hard to breathe and leave it behind.
Got my shades on. Got the shades down. Got my shades on. Got the shades down. Got my shades on. Look around all sides of me. Got my shades down. Looking at this ground that wasn't built for me. Got my shades on. Bumping around the dark of the day. Got my shades down. Looking at the ground. Looking at the ground.
You've been floating around, trying to find some peace, trying to find some peace. You've been lost, now you're found, still can't feel the beat, still can't feel the beat. Ooh. You've been looking around, trying to find the key, trying to grab some cheese. You've been lost, now you're found. Still can't feel the beat. Still can't feel the beat.
Got my shades on. Got the shades down. Got my shades on. Got the shades down. Got my shades on, look around all sides of me. Got my shades down, looking at this ground that wasn't built for me.
And there it was. I mean, such funkiness.
Oh wait, I gotta mute voxels. Hold on. Yeah, I think I actually I accidentally cut off the bounce from that other one a little bit early, but yeah, man, I appreciate it. Realizing that.
I mean, trying to manage, playback one by one is always entertaining because I have to go to voxels to hear it as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're making sure that the audio is tight, and it is.
It sounds great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's super clear and yeah.
OBS.
OBS. I fucking
Working
love
beautifully.
OBS.
So, speaking of like genre, the funkiness of that, you're mixing, all sorts of modern, drum bass with, R&B. You've got a lot of stuff going on there. What were your main influences playing in bands to start? Was that completely different than what's here now?
Oh man. I mean, yeah, it sort of spanned, when I was in junior high, I listened to a lot of punk, but it wasn't really punk. It was like pop punk. Like I don't know if you'd call it that, but like NoFX. I loved NoFX and Pennywise and
Oh yeah.
really up tempo, like yeah, I don't know what you'd call that stuff. But then I I was playing guitar, and then I started getting into all the like classic guitar guys. And then I discovered Fish, and I was sort of obsessed with them, well into my 20s. And yeah, once I was like, oh, here, because I was just obsessed with guitar, and I was like, oh, here's a band that just does like 20-minute guitar solos. And then I actually got into their like compositions, and like their early stuff is really just fucking like musically brilliant. And I'm also a huge Zappa fan too, where
Oh yeah.
they have such these huge repertoires, and it's all very different, but like also very prog rocky, and even orchestral at times. And
Absolutely.
yes,
I mean, Zappa, talk about a incubator is what he is. I mean,
oh yeah,
for Steve Vai, Terry Bozzio,
yeah,
greats of our times, let alone, didn't Skunk Baxter play with him a little bit? And then, invariably he had, I think the Brecker brothers in there. I mean, just
yeah.
this
I think you're right.
amazing, solid jazz all the way to, hard acid rock. And I mean,
Yeah,
he was able to amalgamate the whole concept of music. And, and he was prolific. I mean,
oh,
to
it's crazy, man.
to
We haven't
honor
even heard
that.
most of it too, because like there's like a whole vault, right, with just
Yeah.
like unreleased shit.
And I mean, what a Herculean effort Dweezil has done to do Zappa by Zappa, right?
Yeah, I actually saw them a few times. It's the closest I got, and they were such like they just. I mean, he had a lot of the people that played with his father, and they were just such tight fucking shows. And you know, I loved Frank's guitar playing, but like technically, I think Dweezil is like I would rather listen to him play. He is like his
Yes.
solos were just fucking on point.
Yeah.
But
He had just that little more expression because Zappa was a technical master, right?
yeah,
Just really, which was really, you would have never have thought by looking at him that this was the level of expertise that he
right.
was applying to his music. Oh, while you're listening to Muffin Man, it's like, it's like,
Yep.
what is really going on here? It's like, Valley Girl. It's like there's expertise being applied. There are virtuosos in this lineup to make this totally whacked out song.
100%.
And so, but yeah, moving from the early days of your music into the modern, just composing in a DAW, let alone now. Did you do any DJ work at one point?
I've done a few DJ sets, but not a lot. Yeah, not a lot.
So this is then your time with the blinders on in the DAW and
Yep.
these beautiful creations. I totally am grooving with this stuff, and we should throw in a couple more.
Hell yeah, man. That sounds great.
We've got plenty of time. So
Hell yeah.
let's see what we can do here. Should I just, no, actually, I'll just jump out of this. Let's do track one then.
Let's do it.
Here we go.
I don't even think I know what I'm doing, but I still let it now.
Bring it back. Whew.
And yeah, that I have to give a shout out to my man Farnell Newton on the trumpet on that one. He's submitted a couple stems for this, so yeah, that was Farnell on the trumpet. And actually, the next version of this features Kenna Rose, Genzo's daughter, on vocals too. So that's another shout out to her as well.
On this next version?
Yeah, on the next version of this. Yeah.
Sweet. Okay.
So essentially, yeah, it's like one composition, but there's, we've sort of broken it up into different categories. So like on this one we just heard, there's like, there's a chordal instrument, there's a bass, there's drums, there's percussion, there's accents, and there's different like focus points, like melodies. And essentially those will all just sort of, every time somebody mints from async, it will just give a random combination of all those categories. So there will be, millions of different possibilities of how that mix will turn out.
So this is just some test outputs then?
Yeah, these are just sort of like these tracks are pretty much done in terms of the music. We're still sort of working on the art, and we'll be doing one more. And so yeah, these are pretty much in their final state in terms of mix for the most part. And then they'll be, sort of spit out randomly when people start minting them.
So how many stems are part of this?
So it's going to be anywhere from about 50 to 80 stems per track. Wow. So I think the one that we're listening to now, I think we've got about 60 stems for it.
And are these being mixed by Genzo, or he's doing the final, or what's
No,
your
I'm doing
workflow
I'm doing all the mixing. Actually, the lady Tanya Del Rio is heading the art. Her husband is actually a professional engineer, so I'm gonna have him, sort of take a once over and just be like, hey, I'd love a real pro mixing ear on this to see if what you think on it. But yeah, I've done all the mixing, and
I guess mastering is
So mastering is done through Async. They actually have like a mastering chain, and I have no idea how it works. But yeah, essentially everything will go through the same chain when it's minted. So I would definitely look into Async because they have a bunch of different tools, not even necessarily just the generative music, but
right.
Yeah, they've always just had really cool creator tools.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've got, let's have a look here. Couple more straight up tunes, and then we got your video. So what would you like to do?
I would say let's do the next like the track 1-1.
Oh yeah.
And that'll feature Kenna. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Here we go.
I don't even think I know what I'm doing, but I'm still in it now. Let's fucking go. I'm not trying to say that I've been through it, but if you know, you know, no. I don't even think I know where I'm going to, but I'll see you there. I don't know how I'm supposed to choose. So I'm giving it my best guess.
Giving it my best guess. Giving it my best guess. Giving it my best guess. Nothing more, nothing less.
I don't even think I know what I'm doing, but I'm still in it now. Let's fucking go. trying to say that I've been through it, but if you know, you know, no. I don't even think I know where I'm going to, but I'll see you there. I don't know how I'm supposed to choose, so I'm giving it my best guess.
Giving it my best guess. Giving it my best guess. Giving it my best guess. Giving it my best guess. Giving it my best guess. Giving it my best guess. Giving it my best guess. Nothing more, nothing less.
And there it is.
There it is.
That was super tight, and I loved how you mixed. Oh, brother, here you go. Yeah, go. Sorry.
No
So
worries.
with that, just where did you do the vocoder mix? Well, at least the layering of vocals with the keys. There was a little synth that was layered on with Keno's voice there, a couple parts.
So that was all Genzo, actually. I'm not quite sure what that was, but he just, I hit him up and he actually did it when he was in New York. Funny thing, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but he actually recorded her on his phone while they were in New York. He was there visiting her. And then I think he got back to his studio and then, but he sent, her vocals already sort of, he's like, do you want them dry? And I'm like, no, fucking, if you have already affected them, then I would trust your instinct over mine with that. So yeah, he just sent them to me with all the, effects and processing already on it. So,
Well, just totally fit in with your orchestration just perfectly.
yeah, she crushed it. I mean, they're both great. So
Awesome. Yeah, well, definitely excited to hear it as that comes. And I'm sorry, I've been kind of all over the place here. Did you name what that's going to be called, or is that still a secret?
So I can say the name of the project is going to be called Sonic Voyage.
Okay.
So we haven't named the tracks yet. That might be, a little bit later, but yeah.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Enough alpha.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, here's some, I guess, beta now, because you've got these tracks out and running. Here, let me just jump into here really quick. We got, well, we got 3 videos. One is the bonus video, but would you like me to do Arcade Forest, then the bonus video?
Yeah, that sounds great. Let's do that.
Okay, let's go. Well, I'll just do one after another here.
That sounds perfect.
All right, let's go. The first tune is Arcade, and then we'll go to Forest, and we're just gonna let it run into the last one.
Play me. Play me. Play me. Ready, player one. Play me. Play me. Play me. Play me. Ready, player one. Play me.
Okay, here we go, Forest. trippy? No. Disturbing? No. Awesome? I don't know. Let's just.
I mean, yeah, those are when I just like let my mind go wild and I look at the end product and I'm like, oh, that's pretty fucking demented. But I guess that's like that part of me, you know. So
No, that was cool. Well, and your process for creating these images in sequence is multi-layered too. So it must be just one of those things that's like press that next button, set up the next morph to happen, and out comes this new image that you were or you weren't expecting. How
well,
does
a
that
lot
work?
of it is, yeah, just, typing prompts into the AI and a lot of time those come out really sort of, maybe it's just the way I have my prompts set up, but sort of a little like dark and disturbing in like a good way. Like I like that kind of shit. So
Yes.
I think that sort of like also steers, and then I'll just like sort of compose looking at what has spit out from the AI.
Right. And you actually recently published a video out on LensTube,
Yep.
uh, kind of rolling through, something similar, or you know, how
Yeah, in terms of
different?
like you're talking about like the process video.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty much, I think I was actually walking through making the forest one and I've had a couple people be like, what, like, well, how are you doing that? And I'm like, I'll make a fucking video. And I like sharing my process and seeing other people's processes.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to check it out, follow me on Lens or YouTube. It's, both places, and you can see how I make them.
Yeah. Lens is the place.
Lens is awesome. Are you on? I guess I don't know if
Yeah.
I'm following you on Lens yet. I'll have to.
Last week, I finally got myself set up. I
Perfect.
wrote my first Lenster message, and so I'm just
We'll have
kind
to
of like
connect on
going,
there.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Lens is. I'm very, very impressed with Lens. I've been on there a few weeks, and I'm hoping to. Yeah, I'm hoping it sort of takes off. It seems like it already has a bit, but
It's got a lot of traction. If you look in our, circle of tweeters that we're part of, I mean, we've got a lot of uh, dot lenses out there, and so
yeah, seriously. Well, yeah.
I've
I'm
got
glad you're on there.
lens,
For
but
Lens, I'll follow you tonight.
people are saying get fell dot lens, lens.
Oh, that would be pretty cool. I wonder if you can claim multiple handles. That's actually a question I've
Well,
had. So,
it's one per address, right? And so,
oh, okay, that makes sense.
and that was the thing. It's like, okay, am I going to stick with one?
Yeah.
I should grab it anyway just because.
I mean, if you can, it would
Yeah,
be fun.
sure. And actually, that's right. I actually do have a separate Falens NFT.eth address that I'm using just for publishing music.
Oh, you
And
should
so,
totally grab it with
yeah,
that
so I
then.
will actually. That's the one.
That would be
Don't
awesome.
tell
I think
anyone. This is
I
not
won't
on the internet. Oh,
I
crap. Oh,
will
well.
I will keep my mouth shut.
I'll do it right after we're done here. Anyway, so alpha's been dropped in every direction tonight, and I still am, totally wanting to know more about your music, and so I don't know if you've got a few more minutes. We've gone
Totally.
a little while over, but uh, you know, how much of your music is actual live instrumentation? Because I hear keys, I hear guitars, and those definitely do not sound synthesized, so to speak, movement wise.
Yeah. I mean, guitar is usually all me, or is always me. Keys are all me, although I do a lot of synth, a lot of what I use are synthesizers.
Yeah,
The drums are usually all sampled. Um, yeah. But yeah, keys and guitar are, usually always me playing,
cool.
whether
And
that's
with
MIDI
keys, you
or
do a little, you do the general gist, and then do a little cleanup, so to speak.
pretty much. Yeah, it depends. Like if it's like the Christmas one, I ended up doing a lot of editing. just because I'm out of practice. So my takes are usually not clean, but
I
yeah.
mean, when I first got into mixing, what was it, end of 2019, and I was just starting to, throw in some tracks with guitars, and I managed to figure out how to, get some really great guitar sounds through some samples, and I wound up not going back. I actually had to learn how to play guitar again
Oh,
earlier
I
this
feel that.
year, just to get back. Everybody was saying, you got to start playing live. What's this pre-recorded crap? It's like, well, I just spent 2.5 years working on this stuff. That's it's like, oh, okay. I get to resuscitate that part of me, so it was cool. But
I dig
yeah, I
that.
mean,
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
hearing your live instrumentation in that just total groove.
Thank you. Yeah, it's yeah,
Pardon my training.
oh yeah, no worries. Yeah, I mean it's one of those things too where like I used to play live all the time, and I'm also like so out of practice, and I actually had my first show in years now, a couple weeks ago. And I was rusty as hell. Like it was just it was like I did about as good as I could have done from being that out of practice, but it takes a lot of practice to keep that stuff up.
Yep,
I mean, I'm sure
absolutely.
as yeah.
I've uh, been very fortunate. So being able to resuscitate my guitar playing and play with some amazing musicians, do some stuff. I'm really excited to see how this next year goes, and would love to collab with you. I would love to
Hell yeah.
reach out to. This has just been an amazing journey to have musicians like yourself in NFT Music Hall. It's a symbiotic relationship where we're helping each other get our music out and learn how to produce, how to release. It's really awesome.
But yeah, man, definitely, I'm here, and yeah, always down to collab with other musicians in Web3, and yeah, so definitely.
So what's your next step? You've got these two NFTs out. You've got do you have a date yet specifically for the
No, we're sort of we're taking it, at our own pace, and just, we're in the mindset of we'll get the content done when we get it done, and then at that point we'll figure out the marketing, and then sort of so no, we do not have a date. I'm hoping early to mid 2023. That's like my goal, but that's about as specific as
yeah,
we've gotten yet. So
we'll stay posted. So
yeah, I'm itching to get it out. So yeah.
can't wait. I mean, it sounds so awesome, and just getting a chance to hear, you know, you describe your music, how you got there. Just really great to have you at NFC Music Hall.
It was great to be here, and I really appreciate both you and Binks for yeah, giving me the chance to come on. So yeah, definitely, always here. So definitely let me know how I can help, and yeah, just happy to be here. And I'm glad that there are places like this that are putting a spotlight on NFT and Web3 musicians. It's yeah, I really appreciate it. So
Absolutely. Well, and it so happens tonight I'm dedicating this show to my dad. You're wondering why I'm wearing the NASA shirt.
I was actually wondering, I was looking at that.
And so, yes, this is the Abbey Road version of the astronauts. It's pretty funny. But my dad, he would have turned, well, not to, I'm not that old. He would have turned 95 this last year on Monday,
Oh
and
wow.
this last week. And this is a wind test model that he used in early flight tests of, I don't know if you recognize this little shuttle here.
I don't know.
At the beginning of the $6 Million Man, there's a shuttle that crashes. This is an early, flight test, well, wind tunnel test model of that.
Oh wow. Was he like
And
was he piloting it or building
No.
it or
my father was one of the many German engineers that came to Huntsville, Alabama, where I was born, to essentially study next generation rocket technology, and so he wrote a
Wow.
lot of pre-space shuttle analysis, from cost analysis to flight trajectories. He actually, if anyone out there is a mechanical engineer, there's the Marx Mechanical Engineering Handbook that he has a couple entries in. One being atmospheric reentry is what he wrote, and he's not really well known in the world. I call him the unsung hero, and so I just want to put it out there to the world that my father, D.W. Falens, was just an amazing man that gave of himself freely and never asked for much. I mean, he just was an incredible mathematician and a wry wit. The guy, and talk about violin. I mean, my father, I would wake up at like 3 in the morning and walk out to the living room and watch him, my uncle, and my mom do a little quartet in the living room.
Oh wow.
And so that was my exposure to music. I was
Like
the only,
classical or yeah, very cool.
well, I'm not sure exactly what it was, but I'm sure it was a mix of his favorites of Bach and Mozart. But who knows? But bottom line, I'm going to close this out with a video, and just want to appreciate you being here. And I'm going to cue this up. So
Well, thank you
until
very
next
much.
time.
Yeah, till next time. Have a great
Right.
evening and yeah, let's talk soon.
Excellent.